What's going on, Pack? Steve from Pack Leader Dogs here. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about the slip lead, which is a tool that I love to use when starting with the dog and finding a way to communicate with the dog through pressure and release. It's a tool that's used in dog shows, vet offices, at shelters. It's a really good way to have communication with the dog without even using words, commands, just through pressure. So I'll show you the basic pieces. This is what it looks like, the basic pieces of a slip lead. Here first we have our handle. This is where you're going to put your hand and hold from here. Next we're going to move down and you have the stopper, which actually the stopper will prevent the tool from opening up. So here you have where the loop goes onto the dog's head, right here. So this is going to go onto a dog's head. And then the stopper prevents the leash from opening up very wide when working with the dog. So here I'm going to show you guys on Jake how we put on a tool. So if I was going to be walking a dog on the left side, I would open up the loop here and move the stopper down. So I would create a P. So you guys can see that this leash makes a P, right? And then from a P, I'm going to now put it on Jake from here. So facing the dog, the P goes on. If I was going to be doing it to walk the dog on the right side, you're going to see that I'm going to make it a number 9. So now I would put it on this way. And I'll show you why really quickly. So now I have it set up for the right side. With the stopper, I'm going to push this all the way down to a point where I can still fit some fingers underneath Jake's neck, so there's no pressure on the leash. But when I tighten the leash, I can have pressure, right? When I let go, it prevents the leash from opening up very wide and potentially falling off the dog. So very important that we put it on here. Okay? So this is how I would put it on him. The next part of what I'm going to show you guys is the position on the neck. So the most important thing to do is to put the leash on the neck at the very top of the neck. You'll see dog shows walking the dogs with that very high on the neck so they can walk the dogs proudly and have full control of the body. Having control of the head and the top of the neck is like your power steering of a dog. The next part of the neck, which I do not recommend, is the middle of the neck, which would be right here. This is when you put pressure on. This is the point where you're going to start feeling the dog giving some coughing, maybe a little bit of choking stuff. So that's definitely a spot we want to avoid. And the last spot would be down at the bottom of the neck. So the only time I put it on the bottom of the neck is when I'm going to be taking a dog on, let's just say, a rollerblade, and I want them to pull me. Sometimes I'll put it nice and low on the neck so they have a lot more leverage for pulling and things like that. So there you got to see why I love using a slip lead as my first tool when working with the dog. You saw how important it is to put the leash at the top of the neck. You saw that putting a leash and making the letter P is for putting a dog on the left side, the number 9 for putting a dog on the right side. You got to see why it's very important to put the stopper at a distance that is not too tight where the dog is feeling pressure, but also at a position where it's not too loose where it could slip over the dog's head. So remember, this tool is really important. The top of the neck is going to be your power steering. The middle of the neck is going to be where you're going to get a little bit of coughing stuff. And the bottom of the neck is great for a dog pulling and leverage. So it's an amazing tool to teach your dog how you can use a very minimal amount of pressure to guide your dog in the direction you want through pressure and release. Hope you guys got a lot out of that. And stay tuned for some more awesome videos on tips on what we can do with our dogs.